So some of you are just going to follow along because you know you already did this. Good for you. Okay, so this question right here at first had no trade-in, right? No trade-in in this particular case. So Joseph wants to purchase a new Honda CR-V. The base price, right? The basic is $36,000 and then some. He wants the hybrid model. Also upgrade the wheels, right? Bigger wheels, roof rails for the canoe, and rain sensing wipers. Did you know that there are rain sensing wipers? That was an option. I actually saw that. It's like, hey, do you want it? And then everything has a price to it, right? As soon as you add. Anyway, so what would be the sticker price in this case? And you should have a formula for that. I first figure out the options, so I do that on the side. And if you look at the chart here, all of these here would be considered options. Okay, all of those items there. So I'll just go ahead and add that. So 14,100, 2,100, 750, and 400. Those will all be considered options, and that amounts to $17,350, right? It's not my final answer yet. Here is my final answer. The sticker price, that should be on your study sheet, by the way, you will add the actual base price along with all the options. You will also add, I think it was air tax first. I think it doesn't really matter because you're all bunching it up, right? And then the freight and the PDI, the pre-delivery inspection, right? So add that all up, and that gives you a huge number, right? 56,260. That is the sticker price right there. I like to circle my final answer. Okay, that is what I'm after. That's what this question is asking. How much will this new car cost him after tax? So here it is. This is the formula you use. New would be sticker minus trade times 1.12. Okay. So I take the sticker price. There is no trade, is there? Zero. So just imagine there's a zero here, right? So nothing really happened. So it's just like this. And that gives you $63,011.20. That's why I cannot own a new vehicle. It's nice. My in-laws bought a brand new vehicle. It's super nice. But I just don't have the money for it. C. Joseph would like to know how much taxes, right? Just how much taxes he paid. Determine the taxes paid. So I have a formula that I gave you, right? It's basically the same as this one, except for it has a 0.12 for just the taxes, right? 56,260 times 0.12, and that is 6,751.20. Taxes only. I'll show you a method number 2. Method 2, anyone? If you take this number and subtract it, right? If you subtract the 56 from this, you also get taxes. So I will just show you that in case you're interested. I already tried that. It gives you the exact same answer. Okay, you make the same amount either way. Sorry, taxes only here, right? That's how much like I spent on my first car, I think. Well, probably less, right? And this is taxes only. So, phew. And D, I throw in, Joseph did not mention that he had a trade-in, right? To prevent the dealer from like jacking up the price, because if they know you have a trade-in, they could, right? So Joseph trades this used vehicle, right? There's a trade for $7,689, and now they want the total purchase price after tax. So basically what you do here, I will repeat the step here, right? I will use this formula again, except for now I will have the trade-in times 1.12. So that would be 48,571.00, right? Times 1.12. And that gives you 54,399.52. Okay, so there you go. Let me add, I would like to add E to this just in case. Just find a little space there. It's not going to be a long question. Total cost, including trade. This is a formula that I added to your notes. If you go back to yesterday's notes, right? What's the total cost, including the trade that you just made, right? You gave them your old vehicle. I need you to pause here and understand, right? This is how much it would cost. You give your vehicle almost as part of the pay, right? But really, you end up writing a check or getting a loan, whatever, and this is what's coming out of your pocket immediately, but really you've paid both of these, right, combined. So total here would be new plus trade. That's the formula that I gave you. So this number comes from here, the 54,399.52 plus 76.89. So all you do is you add up the two components that actually come from you at the end of the day. When you add that up, it's a whopping 62,088.52. However, do you notice the difference between these two numbers? Like earlier, when you had no trade, if you would pay everything from your pocket, you'd pay 63,000. If instead some of that money, right, some of that money is actually your old car, you actually end up paying a little bit less overall. You save in taxes if you use a trade as opposed to paying it all with your own money. We're good? I hope you wrote this down. Okay. You'll get to practice more later on this type of question. Okay. So just follow me now to page 4. So now we're going to talk about a new concept when it comes to new vehicles. So make sure you follow, okay? Make sure you have a highlighter. Calculating depreciation. A car can lose up to 20% of its value in the first year. And over the first 5 years, fall to around 40% from the original value. This is very important. I will highlight that. I may ask this from time to time. But basically, in the first 5 years, you can lose up to 40% of the value of the car, which is pretty crazy, right? Almost half in 5 years. That means that it loses about 15% of the value each year after the first year. This is one of the main disadvantages of purchasing a new vehicle. Is that our geese coming back or what? It's a bit early. Anyways, a vehicle is considered a depreciating asset, right? So assets are things you own. It loses its value. Whereas a house is called appreciating asset, right? It goes up in value. I know you know that. I don't think that's a stretch to wrap your head around that. The rate of depreciation depends on the make and model as well as the kilometers you accumulated, all right? So if you're driving for Uber and you're racking up kilometers, your car is going to lose more. It's going to lose it faster, right? So, or if you're doing skip the dishes, whatever, your car is going to lose its value fast. Okay. So here's a bit of a chart. Some of you, when I read the questions, you're like, I want clear examples step by step, and I want some visuals, right? I hear ya. That's the best way to learn. But can you with me just, if you have a highlighter, I'm going to grab, let's see, orange here. This is the time in years here. And I'm going to make a mark after 5 years of you owning that new vehicle. We're going to make a line there. That's the 5-year mark. Okay. And I will say this. Somewhere on the left of that orange line, I will say faster depreciation rate. There's a faster depreciation rate, and then later it's slower depreciation. So the rate, right, the speed at which it decreases is much faster in the first 5 years. Look at how the line goes, it just dips, right? And then after that, it kind of slows down. And I will give you maybe, for some reason, students, after I teach this, some students think I'm an expert in cars. I'm actually not. Like I try to learn a lot about it, but I tell students, like, if you can, maybe buy an older car first, right? Maybe buy a car for 5-6 grand. Don't buy a car for 20, 30 grand, 5 grand. And it's going to be probably a 10-year-old car, maybe older, but you can probably buy it when it's 10 years old, drive it a year or two, and sell it for almost the same that you bought it for if you take care of it. You lose almost nothing. Whereas if you buy quite new, you're going to lose a lot of money right away. Okay. So, 5 grand, you can get decent cars if you look on Kijiji or Marketplace. For 5 grand, you can find decent cars. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 6, 7. Depends on what you're comfortable with. Take somebody with you that knows about cars. Uncle, aunt, dad, cousin, whatever. Take them with you. It's like, hey, let's look at the car. And I always bring clothes that allow me to go under the car. I don't know about you, but hidden damage is always under the car, right? Do you see something bend? Was that car in an accident? Stuff like that. We'll talk more about that when we do used vehicles. Okay, example. This is the math part of today's lesson. Dinesh is a carpenter in Thompson. He wants to buy a pickup truck. The truck is valued at $28,595. And the estimated, we don't know for sure how much, but we can estimate the depreciation rate. The depreciation rate is 20% per year. Okay. Notice this box here. When calculating depreciation, we use the MSRP or sticker price, but just make sure you don't worry about taxes when it's depreciation. Okay. We're going to answer 2 things. The depreciation amount, so how much was lost, right? How much was lost? and the residual value after 3 years, which is how much is left over. Like how much of the car, how much of that value is still left after 3 years. So here we go. I call this the training wheels of your bike. And then later I'll take these training wheels off, right? And then you'll do without a chart. This is just to organize our thoughts, okay? So you take 28,595, right? What you start with. And we multiply that by 20%. And we all know that 20% is 0.2, right? 20% turns out to be 0.2. You just got to divide that by 100. Just remember that. And we'll figure that out. So grab your calculator, 28,595 times 0.2. And there it is. 5,719. That's how much you lost the first year. And then what I do here with the residual value, what is left, watch what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to put that amount that I start off with at the top here. And I'm going to subtract how much was lost. So then it's 28,595 minus 5,719. So this number right here is what is left, which is called residual value, residue, right? How much is left after the first year. Some students just think, oh, I'm just going to times this times 3 because it's 3 years and then we're done, right? Nope, doesn't work like that. It works, every year has to be done separately. So you take this number with you on the second line and you're going to calculate how much was lost the second year separately. Okay, take this with you and then repeat the process. So times 0.2, you're going to lose a little bit less, right? And so it's 4,000, and you can put the 0 there, right? Because it's technically a dollar amount. And then it's minus 45.75.20. And so at the end of year 2, you're gonna the value of that car, sorry, 18,300.80. That's how much will be left after the second year. You do it one more time. You bring this over to here. Repeat that. We go that times 0.2. We get 3,660.16. So every year you lose a little bit less. That's what I mean. It slows down, right? That's why it kind of gets flatter later on. And we just one more step here. So you kind of have to read the story this way. At the beginning of year 3, this is what I start with, but I lose this much. So at the end of year 3, I'm going to have, I'll just give you that answer, 14,640.64. And now we're gonna we still need to answer the question. A, total depreciation. Total depreciation is 57.19 plus 45.75, 20 plus 36.60.16. And that gives us a total of 13,954.36. That is how much you've lost in 3 years. Okay, it's not a stretch actually. That would be pretty accurate. B, residual value. How much is left over basically. And all you need to do is copy this number here. 14,640 and 64. I don't know how many colors you have, but I'm just gonna, even if you just do one iteration, right, that this number comes down there. And this number came down here, right? Keeps repeating. And I don't think I have room to do that here, but I'm just going to show you what is left and what you've lost. If you added these two up, you should always get back to the beginning, right? So if you go 14,640.64 plus 13,954.36, you get back to the beginning, right? So these two numbers should add up to the beginning. That's the way to check that I do it right. Can I also mention one more thing? If you had a car that is, let's say you bought a car worth $5,000, and you would go 5,000 times 0.2. You can tell right there that you're only gonna lose a lot less, right, on a used vehicle, because the price is already down. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna right away get you to try it. I'm gonna get you to try this on your own. If you ask someone, just be relatively quiet. Right? Just respect people. People want it quiet. Just watch for the depreciation rate is different. The value of the car is right here. Right? That's the value you're supposed to consider, and it's only over 2 years. Make sure you answer the total depreciation. That's kind of like, this is kind of like the A part, and this is part B, so to speak. So they want you to answer both of them. There's one with training wheels, and there's one without training wheels. So 5 to 10 minutes. I'll let you work a little bit. Fill it in, and you just check if you got it right. This one is a bit challenging. Students don't know how to put that on a study sheet. So you need to, I guess, become creative to tell you how to do it, right? Because it's important that you know how to do it. So total depreciation, you can show me that work. See, even if you were to get these numbers wrong, if you were to show me that you're adding them, you still get partial marks, okay? Because you know which numbers need to be added, right? 15,049.35 is the total loss, right? That's loss. and then B is the residual value, which is 19,349 and 15, right? So let's do one without the chart. I don't know how you did it. You all seem to know what you were supposed to do, so that's good. So I go like this. Year one, I take the price, right? And I multiply it in this case by 0.15, right? Because 15% turns out to be that. So year one, I lose 391523. I just go ahead and go straight to here. I do the subtraction on this side so that I can calculate my year two depreciation. So if I subtract that, I get 22,186.27, and I repeat the process. So then I lose 3327.94. I repeat the process for year three. It did ask for the year three, so then it's 18,858.33 times 0.15, and there I lose 28.75. Most of my ACs do not have that table. That's like new. I just added that in your notes. Okay. So if you want total loss or depreciation, I would be fine with you just showing me that you're adding this, and that is 10,071.92. That's the total loss in this case. And if you want to give me the residual value, you have to subtract this one more time, because that has also been lost, right? You lost this, this, and this. And I'll show you a second way. When you subtract this, you get 16,029.58. This is the residual value. Oh.
In year two, 22,000
minus, oh, show me. What's
there must be 28, not 27.
Like for the decimal?
Yep.
Oh, this.
Yep.
Okay, you put 22 here. Oh, I have 23.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Check your rounding.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would lose half a mark, but the rest is all perfect. Okay. So this is how I do it without a table. So figure it out. Maybe on your study sheet just have 1 year. How would you do 1 year and then leave it at that? Okay. Let's keep going. I'll make sure you write it down. So at least write down the answers. Even if you get it wrong, you don't have time to redo the whole thing. Write down the right answer, and then if you have time, you do it again, right? Now, this is a challenge for you. On the back side of this, what does it say if you flip over? I'm going to leave it because some of you might still copy this. What does it say at the top of the next page there? For 20 years. Would you do a chart like this? It would be pretty tedious, right? There's a shortcut. I will show you that formula, not today. I won't have time because I want to explain how it works. We're going to skip that and go to page 7. Seven is very important to be aware. I don't know if you need to add this to your study sheet. I think this is kind of like a try to memorize a couple. But it is probably a good idea to have. Sometimes the question just says state a good thing about buying a car, a new car. Why would you tell somebody to buy a new car? That kind of question. And then state why you shouldn't be buying a new car. But when I say explain, you need to be able to explain why you gave that reasoning. Okay, so that's where I'm going to ask you to copy now the explanations. Okay, lower maintenance cost. Why would you say that? Okay, new vehicles come with warranty. This is on page 7. Comma, which covers major repairs. So that's one reasoning. You could also say it's a brand new vehicle, so it's more reliable. It has fewer mileage on, right? Fewer kilometers on it, so therefore things are not as likely to break down. But don't just say because it's new, right? Like you gotta kind of go a little bit deeper than that to make sure you get it right. Customization or options, right? You can build the car to suit your particular needs, right? You can choose color, trim, options, right, etc. You can choose if you want all-wheel drive or just rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive sometimes. You can upgrade the engine, the tires, you name it. No hidden damage. Okay? Unlike a used vehicle, you are the first owner, so no need to worry about potential undisclosed damages. Because let's face it, sometimes people won't tell you, or they will minimize it. You know, I just had a little fender bender, not big deal. Just change the bumper, we're good, right? How do you know? Right? How do you know for sure? When you buy brand new, you don't have to worry about such thing. It's safer compared to a used vehicle. New vehicles, right? Whew, good reflexes. Come equipped. New vehicles come equipped with the latest and greatest safety features. Right? So what am I talking about, right? Lane departure assist. You know that one, right? I don't know if you've heard of it. So if you're kind of getting tired and you're slowly wandering into the next lane, it'll wake you up, right? It'll kind of give you a little what do you call it? A little message. Hey, you're departing, right? Go back. Airbags, right? Newer cars have way more airbags, etc. Some of them even have sensors that if you get too close to a car, it will slam the brakes for you, right? There's the rain sensing wipers, right? So things like that, they're safer, right? They have like 50 airbags. No, I'm just kidding, not that many, but lots more. It's safer, so forth. More fuel efficient, right? New cars need to comply with safety, with emission standards. Sorry, emission standards. set by governments, right? Set by governments. So they need to comply with that. So that means that they will use less gas, right? Naturally. Usually you get better finance rates. New cars often get 0% financing or 1%, 2%, still low, right? You get a much better interest rate compared to getting a loan for a used car, which I quite frankly don't get, but I feel like it must be in the price of the car. The interest, right? It's in there. So they make you feel like, oh, 0% financing, a really good deal, right? Probably paying for it anyways. Something that would say you would use to go against buying a new car would be higher depreciation costs, right? You lose most of the value, about 40%, right? In the first 5 years. And trust me, you don't have to use the exact wording I'm using. If you want to say you lose a lot, the depreciation rate is a lot faster the first 5 years as opposed to thereafter, you can say that as well. More expensive to insure. Since the replacement value is higher, your premium, your insurance premium is greater. If you can't read something, let me know. That's why I'm reading it out as you. Since the replacement value is higher, your insurance premium is greater. I believe MPI has a maximum insurance of 50 grand. If you buy a car that's more than 50 grand, you need to buy extra insurance. So right there, you're gonna pay more, right? You pay for freight and PDI applicable to all new vehicles. And why I say vehicles, because that applies to snowmobiles, ATVs. Same rules apply when it comes to the trade-in and taxing and all of that. Very few, I don't know, I mean, I haven't purchased a new vehicle, but I don't think they will waive that fee on you because they paid for it to get the car to their dealership, right? You pay air and tire tax. All new cars in Manitoba pay both taxes. That's all I'm going to say here. And that's only for new, right? So if you buy new, that'd be a disadvantage. You have to pay that tax, right? And they tax you on that. So one more thing, and then we're done, I promise. You pay more for options or custom features. If you buy a car and you want leather seats, if you buy it brand new, it's going to cost you way more than if you just wait 5 years and you just buy it off of someone, right? Like you just get it, it's all in the package. You're not paying specifically for that. Okay. Okay. If you've written this down, let me tell you what I'm gonna. You still have some class time to work on it even, so you can get started on that. So if you go to page 9 to 12 reviews everything we've done in this buying new section. So let me just go over page 9 to 12 and you choose where you want to start. If you don't want to do the chart, that's okay with me. The chart is very basic. It's just getting you through the motions, right? Base, options, freight. There's no trade, and how much would you pay? This is after tax, by the way, guys. Total cost after tax. And then there's some questions that are obviously longer, right? With a table like that. You won't always have a table, but I try to organize it. And then there's depreciation questions here, question 4. So there's a little bit of everything to review. I will post a detailed key right now as you start. I will post that key, and you can make sure, because I probably won't go over this tomorrow. It'll be on you, but the key will be all worked out. It will be posted in a bit, okay? Go ahead. That's it for today, guys. So if you want to do a few questions right away, I don't know if you want to do another depreciation right away.